What's happening, guys? I'm out here in the woods. As you can see, we've already got the tank releaser and vacuum pump already put away in this new setup, but I wanted to give you a little 23 maple season update, how it went, recap that, so stay tuned. Well, as you can see here, guys, on a couple of these main lines, we still have some sap trickling in, even though we've got everything taken out of here. But the maple season largely ended earlier this week when we had a string of upper 70s and even mid to upper 80-degree days for about 4 or 5 days in a row. So that put an end to it, put a stop to it. With that being said, we still had a good season overall in central Wisconsin. Rest of the state, I don't know. Southern Wisconsin, that's a kind of a different season and climate than us here in the central. And then the north is different than here. But from the reports I have heard, northern Wisconsin did not have a great year because they had tons and tons of snow, way more than we had, and it suppressed the beginning of the season. But then they got the warm weather and it kind of killed it and ended it prematurely. But let me talk about what happened here, primarily in this new setup, this new woods that you saw me do some videos about. I wanted to do more videos during season, but it's just difficult. It's really hard. So I tried to keep things going with some Maple Dude YouTube shorts. Those are the only ones I can really do on the fly, especially when you're putting in 14, 16-hour days, day after day after day. The last thing you want to do is go home and edit something like that. That's why I've been quiet for a while, but now that we're out of the season, I'm going to tell you how it went. Over here again, here's what we put in. Check this behind me, over on the other side of the property line. Here are some Amish sap bags on trees, and these aren't your traditional sap bags, the blue ones with the metal bag holders. Let's go take a look at what they typically use in this area. They like to use something called the old ketchup bags. And then, as you can see there, they've got a plastic spout and it's kind of hung through this hole in the ketchup bag. Oftentimes I'll get people, Amish people, coming into the shop and asking me, do you have ketchup bags for sale for collecting sap? And I just tell them, no, I don't have ketchup bags. I don't sell ketchup bags. So I don't know where they get them, but I know it's a popular way to collect sap here in central Wisconsin for the Amish community. We got myself, my dad, Jack, my son, Oleg, Bobby, and Albert. And those last three guys are each 67, 68 years old. So we got a motley crew. We got a ragtag crew. They get the job done, but we work hard. So season update, guys, 2023, it was a good year. It was a good year here in central Wisconsin. I can't complain. It would have been even better had there not been a bunch of crazy things happen and just things not quite being in place and being ready in time. As for me here, we could have gotten the season going even earlier. We weren't quite ready for it. We weren't quite all tapped in time. So on the front end, we could have had more sap because we just missed the initial maybe run or maybe even two. Like, they were lighter runs, but early ones, but we could have got them and could have even made more. And then here, right here where I'm standing, guys, in the new tubing install that I did, this one was the one that caused me a lot of headaches. It was kind of just a comedy of errors, you might say, from the get-go. Although we did get a fair amount of sap out of it, we could have got a lot more. Right from the beginning, this setup, the components at the other end where you get the sap, the tank, the releaser, and the vacuum pump, they all came in late, and they all came in piece by piece. So initially, we didn't even have this one up fully running until a week after the 3 other vacuum woods were up and running. So we missed a lot right there. And then when we did get it up and running, we noticed that we had very low vacuum in this woods. And this is completely new install, so you would think you shouldn't have a lot of problems with that. Well, after, you know, kind of scratching our heads and just driving ourselves crazy trying to figure out what was going wrong, and we could not. It was really frustrating. We first thought our vacuum pump was bad. I bought a used vacuum pump, and we thought that maybe was the problem, that it just couldn't pull. So we did things like diesel flushes on it and all this stuff. Spent a lot of money on diesel fuel and oil to try to get it flushed out, get it back to top peak performance, and that didn't help. So we just couldn't figure out what was going on, and we started then walking the lines, and we started to find out that there were tons and tons of leaks out here. And the long story short of it is, this new tubing install, a huge percentage of the T's on the drop lines were bad. And let me show you that. So as you can see right here, guys, take a look at this T. I have it flagged because this is one that I found amongst many others. But see that little dot there? Try to close up on it. I don't have the vacuum running now, obviously, but that little speck, that little mark on the bottom of that T, there was a hole there. And hundreds of them were out here like that. Some, you could actually hear the air leaking out of there from 20 feet away. Others, you had to put your ear right up to it and you could hear a little air leak. But we started noticing the bubbles moving fast in the lines, and we knew something was up. So we started walking lines. I started flagging them, and then I had Albert going out and replacing the bad T's that we found. The result of that was I contacted the manufacturer of these, who I'll keep them nameless for now, until we see what happens with this. And they told me that they were aware of this problem. So that means there was a lot of other people experiencing the same issue. They told me they're aware of it. They don't know what they're going to do about it. Now think about this. You spent all your time in this woods, fall and winter, putting it up. You had hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of labor involved in that. Then you get the vacuum system up and running, and your vacuum level is down. So that's costing you yield, and that's costing you production. And now, when we went out here thinking we needed to fix some of these T's to get the vacuum level up, we don't think we were actually replacing them, I think, with bad T's again. Because sections we would check, and we would take out the bad ones. When we come back a few days later, they were leaking again. Okay, or that same section had new leaks. So we think we were just putting more out there, and or, you know, like some little sugar or whatever plugged the hole for a while in some of them, and then it reopened up. So you had hours of labor involved in that. Now, with that being said, I think we never did get the vacuum up to where it should be. We only got it up to about 18 or 19 on this system, and brand new that should have been like 25 at least with the vacuum pump that I was running. I think the only way to remedy this problem is to replace all the T's in this woods. So think about that. That's 2,000 plus T's in here that we're gonna have to go through and do again, all the labor involved in that, and I'm gonna have to pay Albert to do that. So it'll be very interesting to see what this Maple equipment company does to resolve this issue, if anything. If you know anything about Maple equipment companies, they definitely In my opinion, customer service isn't a strong suit for most of them, except maybe Smoky Lake Maple Products. And I don't say that just because I endorse them. It's because I know the people and I know how they handle their business, and they do operate on a different level outside the norm. A lot of these maple companies, you know, you have to think a year in advance to get something or start planning for a project. It's not stuff you can get quick, and it's not always, I guess, what I would say they operate like other businesses do. They kind of operate on their own little world, and that isn't exactly fast or efficient in my opinion. So guys, that's kind of the story here at the world headquarters. We had a good year despite all that. We could have smashed records had this woods been up and running good. So yeah guys, that is a little summary of what happened here for the season. I'll definitely keep you posted on this situation and see if anything is done to resolve the problem. We're going to be getting into probably putting tubing into another woods next year. So we'll have another one going on. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching. I'll keep posting videos this summer, but we're going to move more over into the ATV videos because those are actually, for viewership, are a lot more popular anyway. So if you like that, so if you like father and son stuff, because it'll be me and Jack riding a lot, stay tuned, keep watching, and remember, always keep it real.